Everything has happened for me when I'm ready for it and in the right order. I love the path that I've taken. Wrestling is all about crowd interaction, so I was thinking, what can the audience do from seating or standing position? They can wave their hands and they can clap their hands. So I make a song that is all about waving and clapping your hands.
When you've got to write and perform a song and later that day you have a match, that's different parts of your brain that are firing.
Yeah, it's a lot. The toughest one is versus The Miz at Christmas.
What a way to make your debut on Raw.
Yeah, not too bad, right?
How many WWE tryouts did you have before ending up where you're at now?
A lot. The thing about getting to WWE is focus on the smaller wins that build into the bigger wins.
WrestleMania 41. What are you thinking in that moment?
It's almost impossible to put it into words.
You've been the TNA World Champion, the NXT Champion. What's the next one you have your sights set on?
That's a tough question to answer because
Joe Hendry, ladies and gentlemen. That might be the best entrance we've ever had at any Insight Live.
it was nearly even better. I was just about to slip there, actually. My foot kind of, I thought
There's
I was
a little
about
bit
to
of
go.
an edge there.
Yeah, I was about to go.
Now you could have fallen into the audience here.
They would have caught me. You guys would have caught me, right?
They would have
Yeah.
caught you. Yeah. I think that this is the catchiest song you've ever had. This song with Logan Paul might be your best song ever. What do you guys think? Paul. Can we fire Logan Paul? It's so catchy. They love it.
All right, okay. Wait there.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. Does this mean what we think it means? Wow.
You might have to hold the microphone, though.
Okay.
Holy shit. Let's see those hands. Come on. Respect to the ruler. I acknowledge the OTC. Let's hear it, guys. Can you change one thing from me? That's Logan Paul. Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? He's one amazing athlete, but he's a piece of trash. He can shove his trading cards directly up his Paul. Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? Fire Logan Paul.
I feel like we need to end the show right now. It's not going to get any better than that. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Joe Hendry. That was completely unexpected. Unbelievable. And he's right back on stage. Do you travel everywhere with the guitar now?
I got my steps in there, back and forth on the stage. So for the concert, I had to have 2 guitars with me and my case. Don't know how I did it, but now the guitars are in the case that we travel with on the road. So they're there whenever we need them.
So you're not having to take this onto a plane every single week.
No, I got 2 guitars at TV every week. So we're good. We're all good.
So what's the process when you're writing a parody song about one of your opponents? What is the thought process of putting this together, and how do you pick the melody?
So I think it's a huge challenge to try and get something that is going to make the audience laugh, they're going to remember, and you hope it goes viral as well. And I remember I was working on this song, and I just wasn't really sure what the big hook was going to be. The song was about me signing to Raw. So it started off with the Raw, Joe Hendry signed to Raw. But then if I'm struggling with an idea, I'll watch the previous week's TVs. And anytime I saw Logan about to speak, the audience he wouldn't be able to. There'd be so many boos. So I was like, right, I have to go straight after Logan. Sorry, Logan.
This has become a thing now with his brother. Like Jake Paul was singing along to your song.
Yeah. I reposted that this morning and I sat and debated for about an hour whether it was AI or not. I was like, is this this actually happened? Is this real? And it is real. Jake Paul did post that.
Amazing. But what a way to make your debut on Raw.
Yeah, not too bad, right? Not too bad. We'll take that.
Where does that rank? Like, you've had some amazing moments, right? The debut on NXT, the Royal Rumble, the WrestleMania moment with Randy Orton. Where does this rank in all of that?
Ooh, I mean, the moment with Randy at WrestleMania was... I'll take you back a step. I got the opportunity when I was only 3 years in the business to wrestle Kurt Angle. And that was for What Culture Pro Wrestling. And it was, me 3 years in, wrestling Kurt Angle. Jim Ross is commentating with Jim Cornette, and I'm just thinking, like, this is ridiculous. I'm 3 years in the game, and I thought to myself, I'll never have another moment in my career that's a jump like this, because in wrestling, everything's incremental. You build your career and you build your profile over a number of years. And I thought, I'll never have another moment that's as crazy as that. But wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania as TNA World Champion before I was even signed to the company, that was just ridiculous. So that's my all-time moment, I would say. But this one, to be able to have an impact like this with my first couple of weeks on Raw, I'm super happy about it. It's off to a great start.
When you're writing one of these songs, and these go way back, right? Like, when did you write your first parody song?
So the first parody one was technically 2013. That's when I started wrestling with a company called ICW in Scotland. I did a parody of their theme song. The first time I did it for a famous song was I did In the Air Tonight, and it was I Can Feel Joe Hendry in the Air Tonight. That was 2014.
What's the thinking behind it? Is it to try to get the crowd to sing along? You're trying to also embarrass your opponent. What are all the components there?
You've nailed it right there. So basically, it's two things. One is you want to say something that's relevant to what you're doing and the story and who you're working with, but you also want the audience to be able to sing along. And the easiest way to do that is to use a song that everybody knows. That's where it gets really challenging when you have to create a song that you're going, I have to write something so catchy that's not only relevant to the situation, but the audience is going to be able to sing after hearing it only one time. And that's a really hard thing to do. But when you nail it, you know you've nailed it.
And it's now, I think, over 100 parody songs you've done?
It's got to be in that region, yeah.
And how many views now on your music video for I Believe in Joe Hendry, your theme song?
So I Believe in Joe Hendry has, on my YouTube, it has 12 million views on my YouTube. And thank you.
Dude, for a song you wrote and you performed.
Yeah, and I think it's like 9 million on Spotify or something like that.
It's probably on almost everybody's gym playlist here. It's just so
It's on
catchy.
his playlist. He's excited about it. Yeah.
It's just such a catchy song. And I think what really makes it hit is your entrance. You've got 3 moments during your entrance where you're doing something and you're interacting with the crowd. There's the first one where you do the first spin in the entranceway. There's the second one, you're standing on the apron, you're doing the waving of the hands. And then the third one's at the end of the song when you do the spin around. How much time and thought went into hitting those beats?
So for me, wrestling is all about crowd interaction, and I reverse engineered the song with that in mind. So I was thinking, what can the audience do from either a seating or standing position? They can wave their hands, or they can clap their hands. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to make a song that is all about waving your hands and clapping your hands. So that's kind of how I came up with it.
I feel like your career took a huge upward turn when you dyed your hair blonde. So what went into dyeing your hair blonde?
So there are 2 reasons, I would say. The main reason is it was around Christmas time. You know, when you're gift shopping for people, I was kind of walking through a store and there was a bunch of wrestling figures. I was like, I'll take a look at this. And I was looking at the action figures, and at the time, I was just, I just looked a bit generic, and I just thought, man, if I had an action figure, be a bit of a boring action figure. And I remember in various wrestling video games, people would make me, and I'd go, it's a bit of a generic wrestling character. And then, I thought, well, what if I dyed my hair? And it was during the whole kind of, when we were in lockdown in the UK, I started watching wrestling that I hadn't really seen before. And I'd kind of missed that period of the 90s where Psycho Sid was starting to, get towards the world title. And I was like, man, he's awesome. this guy's wrestling. So, and I thought, that kind of inspired me as well. So I decided I'd dye my hair blonde. And that's why I was doing power bombs and choke slams when I had no business to be doing them,
And now I can't picture you without blonde hair.
Yeah, me neither. But,
Is it true blondes have more fun?
It seems to be the case. I'm having a lot of fun.
Okay, there it is. How much inspiration did you take from The Rock and the Rock concerts that he would do with his guitar in the middle of the ring?
So the Rock is like the reason I got into the pro wrestling business. I was a fan of the video games before I was actually a fan of wrestling. Like I'd seen wrestling a couple of times on the TV, but I loved the original Warzone video game because I think that was the first one where you had the create a wrestler option for the first time. And, I wasn't big into wrestling, so I'd be creating, I remember I created like the guys from Pulp Fiction and put them into my Warzone video game and various different movie characters and whatever. And then I got SmackDown and I thought that was awesome. But when SmackDown 2 came out, that was it. I mean, this game came out in, I think it was either 99 or 2000, and it had Hell in a Cells, casket matches, Falls Count Anywhere. It had everything. And that to me was just like, wow, this pro wrestling thing is awesome. And obviously in that game, this was the PS1 at the time, so it was like revolutionary that when you did the people's elbow, The Rock would take off his elbow pad and it would be gone for the rest of the match.
That's right.
That was like, the graphics can never get better than this. Yes, there you go. So I decided, right, I'm going to check out wrestling. It was The Rock's promos that really got me into it. So seeing his concerts as well, the reason why his concerts worked so well is because he did a really good job. As well as being funny, he was really good at it. He played super well. He sang well. He was super confident. And, for him to be able to get to that point of musicianship, because I don't know if people know how hard it is. Like when you're out there, when you're looking at the main camera and it's got the red light on, like, we're live, pal. And it's like these things start going through your head where you're like, oh, what if I forget a line, or what if I do this? And then you start thinking about that instead of the lines, and it actually makes you forget the line. So there's so many pressures going on for him to be able to just do that. Cool as, just went out there and did it flawlessly. Super inspired by The Rock for sure.
But when you've got to go out there and write and perform a song that maybe you just wrote, and then also later that day maybe have a match, my goodness, that's like different parts of your brain that are firing.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'd say the toughest one I've ever done is versus The Miz at Christmas. And the reason is because my songs are designed in such a way that they're slower so you can get the sing-along going. Whereas Jingle Bells, we were doing a parody of Jingle Bells, right? And Jingle Bells is like, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, whoa, there's so much going on. If you forget one word, like, you are toast. So the one with The Miz was the most stressful one to remember.
So where are you actually recording these? Like, are you recording them in your apartment, your house? What's the deal?
So, I could drop an exclusive right here for people. I drop an exclusive.
Okay.
Because this is actually very relevant. So this is an exclusive. I haven't told anyone anywhere, but I have recorded an album with WWE Music.
Wow.
And it's going to drop this summer.
Wow.
And we recorded most of that in New York at the WWE studios. And so what I've done now is the microphones that we have there, I have basically replicated the setup back home now. So I don't need to fly to New York to do it. I can send stuff in and we can work on it back and forth. So that's one of the things that makes these songs work, is because they're fast and they're topical. So we can basically, like, we obviously did the Logan Paul song on TV, but we were able to just get it done that week because we could send files back and forth. But yes, there is an album coming out this summer.
Is it an album full of all original songs, or have we heard some of these songs already?
Well, it is. I will say they are all original songs, and I won't say any more than that. They are all original songs.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I can't wait to grab one. That's very cool. The regular season is wrapped and the NBA playoffs are finally here. And there's no better way to cash in on the high-flying hoops action than Prize Picks, a preferred partner of the NBA. Every bucket, every dime, and every win means more when you're playing on Prize Picks. So don't pass up your next shot with Prize Picks and get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is simple to play. Pick 2 to 6 players and pick more or less on their stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from NBA, baseball, hockey, MMA, and more. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you can cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Get in on the action. Prize Picks is now available in all 50 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code INSIGHT to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code INSIGHT to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, a preferred partner of the NBA. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. How many WWE tryouts did you have before finally getting their attention and finally ending up where you're at now?
A lot. So, I had, I have been, does anyone remember the Rosebuds?
Yeah.
I am a veteran Rosebud.
How many times were you a Rosebud?
I think I've been a Rosebud. I think it's 7 times. I don't know if anyone's been a Rosebud more than me, you know? So
I remember seeing you in a pink suit as a Rosebud.
So you know how everybody wears all the ridiculous costumes? I remember going, nah, they're not going to get me. They're not going to get me. People have got all these, crazy disguises and costumes. And what I did is I bought the pink suit because I was like, I think the pink suit is ridiculous enough that they'll allow me to wear that, and I can wear it on the indies after the appearance. So that was my thinking of that. So I did that. I've been a Rosebud about 7 times. Obviously, I was Rusev's lawyer as well. People remember that one.
You guys had a reunion recently.
Yes. So we got a picture. I mean, how many years ago was I think that was 20. It was either 14 or 15. So yeah, we're going back sort of 12 years. But yeah, I think that's the thing about getting to WWE is that people, and this kind of speaks to anyone who's pursuing a goal or a dream. When I was younger, I used to think it was like this. It was this linear path where this happens and then this happens and then this happens. And I think the older I got, the more I realized that actually life's a little bit like this. And sometimes you have to go, well, this is exactly what I want to do, but there's an amazing opportunity if I actually steer into this. You kind of have to steer into the opportunities as they come instead of just trying to impose your will of what you think your timeline should look like. And you focus on the day-to-day, the smaller wins that build into the bigger wins. Whereas when you're younger, you think, well, you're just so focused on what the big wins are going to be. You get more, as you get older, you think more about the day-to-day successes that build to that. So yes, I had my first match at a WWE tryout, believe it or not. So the first match I ever had outside of my training school was at a WWE tryout. Wow. No pressure. And it was in front of CM Punk, Big Show, William Regal, Fit Finlay. And the funny thing is, I actually have a picture from what I wore to that tryout. And at the time, I was like, I am jacked. And you look back and you're thinking, what was I doing at a tryout? You know what I mean? At that time. So it's like in my mind, I was like, I am so ready to get signed immediately. But I think the cool thing about tryouts is you get to know people in the business along the years and they give you feedback and you either take that feedback and adapt to it or you don't. And you often find, a lot of wrestlers have said this, the biggest part of being successful in wrestling is just staying in the game and getting consistently better. And to me, I feel like my wrestling has got better. My wrestling, my promos, everything I do, I feel I've got better every single year. And that's why when, if people criticize me, it doesn't really bother me because it's like if someone says, oh, well, I saw this thing that you did last week. Yeah, that was me last week. I'm thinking about who I'm going to be in 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years. So I think if you focus on constant improvement, you will make it. You just will.
So if you had these moments with WWE in 2014, you're probably thinking, it's right around the corner. I'm going to get signed. And then you end up becoming the 10-year overnight success.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time, I think, in 2016 where it was looking like I might have been a part of the UK tournament. And I'm glad that I wasn't, because I don't feel I was ready for it. Because I feel like, back then I was doing my entrances, they were getting views, and I was operating on this level on my entrances. But at that point, I'd only been, I'd had my debut 2 or 3 years previous, whereas like I would have been up against, a guys like Pete Dunne and Trent Seven, who were like, seasoned like in-ring professionals at that point. So I feel like it was almost good that I didn't get that opportunity then and kind of took a different path. And I feel like everything has happened for me when I've been ready for it and in the right order. And I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. I love the path that I've taken.
How did your WWE tryouts go? Like, were you ever close?
So I'll tell you now, I've messed up a WWE tryout worse than anyone ever has. And I'll tell you, so I'll give you an example. I've never told this story before. Probably shouldn't tell this story, but we're here. I've started.
It's just friends here.
So yeah, so we do the tryout and we're getting a bunch of feedback, and so William Regal is telling us like, right guys, you've done a good job. Like, you need to focus on physiques, you need to focus on your technique. And I'm thinking, all right, cool. So I go into the into catering, right, and all the other guys are talking about how good the cake is in catering. I'm like, these guys, we've just been told to work on our physiques and they're eating cake. I'm like, I'm gonna show them that I'm eating rice and chicken. He's going to see that and he's going to go, he's coachable, right? So I'm sitting there in my rice and chicken. Like. So William Regal comes down, sits with us all. And the thing is, this is the awesome thing about William Regal, actually. He sat down with us for like 2 hours and just told us this is what wrestling is. And I can remember almost every word that he said, and it helps me to this day. But the main point was that you as a wrestler, it is about building trust with the audience. So when the audience see you, they know that they are going to get value. They're going to be entertained. And it's not just the big wins like we talked about, like the pay-per-views and the TVs. It's the house shows. It's the fan interactions. It's everything. And he made me realize that about the business. But he's given us these amazing lessons. I'm sitting there with my chicken and rice, and he's in the middle of this very impassioned speech. And while I'm chewing, like this little piece of rice just falls down. Just falls down the back of my throat. And I just try and clear my throat a little bit to get rid of it. And I inhale the piece of rice. So I'm in a situation where I got 2 choices, right? I can either just cough and interrupt his story and go, oh, sorry, my bad, and move on. That's kind of, or you can just say, you know what? I'm going to try and clear my throat silently, right? So he's telling the story and I go, I'm going to do that. I end up like accidentally inhaling another 8 grains of rice. And so he's telling this story and I'm there and I'm like, and the guy sitting next to me are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's in the middle of a story and I just go, bleh, and basically spat rice all over the table where everyone's eating. And he's telling the story. So from his perspective, he's telling the story and I've just gone, oh yeah? So, maybe that was the reason why I think it's for so long. Who knows? But no, he sold it beautifully. He just says, can't take you anywhere, Joe, and then walked off. So that was comedy gold response.
You got to learn from William Regal during your tryouts. You got to learn directly from Shawn Michaels and Terry Taylor in NXT. Now you're learning from Triple H. What have you taken from each one of those legends?
Yeah, I mean, so NXT, I think, was one of the most difficult challenges I've had in my career and one of the best phases that I've had in terms of my growth and development as a wrestler. And I'm lucky that I've had the chance to work with, like you say, Shawn Michaels, Terry Taylor, Triple H, because each of them have different approaches to wrestling. You can learn things from that. Like Shawn has he has this constant pursuit of excellence and this standard that obviously like in ring, Shawn is like as good as it gets, right? So and he wants to hold you to that standard. So at the PC, I kind of made the decision that I was like, I am not only going to go to NXT, well, obviously, like it's ultimately, I made the decision I'm going to go in every day, right? I'm going to go to the classes. I was not told you have to go to the classes. One day, even before I was signed, Shawn said, hey, would you be interested in training at the PC? And I lived in Scotland at this time. And I was like, I'll see you on Monday. And I had like a couple days to figure out how this was going to go. And thankfully, TNA allowed me to do that. So I was training at the PC long before I was even signed to the company. And I decided I was going to go in every day and train every day. And it was really tough, but I feel like I advanced in ring. Like I feel like I advanced years in just that intense period that I was there. And I feel like I look back on it and I'm just like, wow, I learned so much in such a short space of time. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that, like, as well as Sean and what he's doing with NXT, Terry Taylor has his influence like all over modern wrestling. Like if you look at what like Oba and Trick and Javon are doing, like they've learned so much from Terry and his principles. So like I feel like, you know, for me it was like there's been certain people who have really helped me get to the next level in my career, and I met them at the right time. Like when I got to TNA, like working with Ace Steel really helped me take things to the next level and go from like a comedy guy to a main event guy there. And I feel like Terry and Sean helped prepare me to be a main event guy in NXT. And I decided, I was just like, you know what, if I steered into this 100%, I hope I can get my hands on the NXT championship. And I didn't know if it was going to happen. And when it did, it was just like the most rewarding feeling ever, because it was such a tough challenge. But to get that done was just, I can't tell you how good that felt to be at the top of the ladder and hold the title and be like, whoa, I did it, you know? There's so, you know, I was saying life is kind of like this. There's those few times where you do really go for something and you get it. It's so rewarding. And then to go to the main roster and learn from Triple H, like you know, there's genius in all three that I've mentioned, and there's many geniuses in WWE and in wrestling, but those three to me are definitely geniuses in wrestling. And the great thing about working with Triple H is what he's really good at is he can see the entire picture, the entire show of Raw within WWE and entertainment as a whole. And where I might just be thinking about, you know, well, I'm just making this song and I'm going to put this joke here and this joke here. He's able to not just see it through my eyes, but see it through the audience's eyes and go, sure, totally get that. So what if we do those bits? But what if we put this, and this here? Something I wouldn't have thought of. But then when I see it afterwards, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? He's able to do that, but the speed he's able to do it at as well. Because if you think about how many wrestlers and segments there are on Raw and SmackDown, to be able to just think for a second and go, how about this? It's awesome. So yeah, I'm very grateful, and I'm just blown away by the amount of knowledge I've been able to gain in such a short space of time.
So I would love to hear your thoughts on WrestleMania 42. I was there. Check out these seats from SeatGeek on night one. Oh my goodness. It's like we were practically in the ring here. That's why I want to give a huge shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode today. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, WWE, sports, festivals, and more. So take a look here on the SeatGeek app. This is SmackDown in a few weeks here. Tickets start at $65. And the cool thing about SeatGeek is they've got your back. As you look around here, every ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad, plus every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you can use the code CVV for 10% off your next set of tickets from SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CVV. Make sure to click the link down in the description to download the SeatGeek app and have the code automatically applied to your account so you can use it later on.
Well, you've been the TNA World Champion. You've been the NXT Champion. What's the next one you have your sights set on?
Ooh, that's actually a tough question to answer, because you have different focuses at different points. And I used to be like, I have to sign with WWE. I have to be there by this year, and I have to do that. And actually, when I was on the indies, that got quite exhausting, that way of thinking. And I shifted my focus, and I remember the day it happened. It was I was wrestling for a company called North Wrestling in Newcastle, England, and I did a parody video of Bon Jovi on Scotty 2 Hotty. And I remember the audience just went nuts, and there was like 200 people there, but they all went nuts. And I thought, you know what? If this is as big as it gets, that's cool. Like, this is my job. I'm committed. I am a pro wrestler. If it never gets bigger than this, because I know I killed it. I know I entertained those fans, and I'm going to give my best to entertain the fans no matter what I'm doing. And when I shifted my focus to delivering value for the fans rather than I want this belt, I want this, I want that, that's when things really took off. I feel like now I'm in a phase where I feel like if I just commit to entertaining the audience as best as I can and doing the absolute best job I can, all those things that I want will come to me. That said, Intercontinental Championship, please.
You made it really clear that you wanted to have a match with John Cena before he retired. The last time you were on my show last year, you said, I'm going to put this out on the world. I'm manifesting this. How close were you to having that match with John Cena?
I mean, I don't know. I think the thing is, to me, it's something either happens or it doesn't, right? And look, ultimately, I have to put the responsibility on myself. I didn't wrestle John Cena because I didn't do enough to make me an obvious choice to wrestle John Cena. So I didn't do enough somewhere along the way. And that, I feel, led into the motivation that I needed in NXT, because it made me realize, like, because if you think about it, it's like I'm going, I'll wrestle at the Royal Rumble, I'll wrestle at WrestleMania, and I'm saying this crazy stuff, and it's happening.
They're all happening.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a pretty good track record.
I'm pretty good at this, you know? So I think that gave me a reminder that, like, you just can't take progress for granted. Like, you have to work for everything. I was like, all right, okay, I got to take things up another level now. And I think it inspired me to work harder. So I have no regrets, because I look back and go, yeah, I maybe could have been stronger in this area, but I won't let that happen again. The next thing I want to put out there, I'll make sure I get it.
Well, if you think about it, if you had that match with John Cena, you wouldn't be on the path you're on now. You wouldn't have won the NXT championship. And I feel like maybe you're not in the same spot where you are right now.
100%. And I've said this before, that anytime I've had my heart set on something and it doesn't happen, it feels disappointing for a while, and then something crazy comes along. So I remember there was initially discussion of me being on Raw when they were in Glasgow. This is, again, before WrestleMania last year, before I was signed. And just for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And I remember being like, no, like, that would have been amazing to be on Raw in my home country. That didn't happen. But then a couple of weeks later, I got WrestleMania. And I just don't think I would have got WrestleMania if I had got that Raw. And there's 10 other things like that where I was like, oh, I really wanted this thing to happen. And then, you know, something else crazy came along. So I think that's a part of the business, actually.
You did get to be part of John Cena's last match, the event. Like, you went out there and you had this fun segment with Miz and R-Truth. When did you find out about that?
I mean, the cool thing about a lot of this stuff is a lot of the time you don't find out till pretty soon before. Like, I remember being in the airport when I got the call from Triple H about wrestling Randy Orton. I remember thinking, like, oh, I wonder what this is. Maybe they want me to do like a meet and greet at WWE World or something like that. He's like, so, you know, we need an opponent for Randy. And I remember being in the airport and I was like, just checking if anyone overheard it, or, you know, on the phone. I was like, go on, you know.
Randy Orton?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, with John Cena's last match, to be a part of that show that's a part of wrestling history. I was there when he made his, you know, that toast to the locker room, and to be in that locker room when that happened, that was pretty massive. And I don't know if people know this, but John Cena was the first wrestler I ever spoke to. You know, I was 15 years old. My friend Kyle went to a live event that I couldn't go to, and my phone rings and it's Kyle, and I answer the phone and I hear, yo, it's your boy John Cena. And I'm like, what? And my friend Kyle had gone to a meet and greet and said, my friend Joe can't make it. Could you call him, please? And he was like, all right, give me the phone. So John Cena called me, and you know, I told him my thoughts on, you know, the booking and you know, all this, which I'm sure was super valuable information to him from 15-year-old booker over here. But
have you told him that story?
yeah, I did actually. Yeah.
What did he say?
So I actually told him that at that WWE tryout. So I got to say, hey, just wanted to say thanks. You know, when I was a kid, you know, this happened, and so that was pretty cool. That was 2013. I told him that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take us backstage to WrestleMania 41. Randy's music's hit. He's out there. There's this long, long, long pause before your music hits. What are you thinking in that moment?
I mean, that is hard to put into words. Like I was standing there for what felt like a long time, and you know, when all this is going on, it feels pretty surreal. There were definitely a few moments where I was like, "This is real life, isn't it? This isn't like some elaborate dream that I'm having." But I remember being in Gorilla and I was watching the video package for Randy's 20th WrestleMania opponent, and I was like, this is a really good video package. I was like, this is great. And I was like, oh, it's me. All right, I'm about to go in. So it was just a moment where I kind of got lost in it. And then they were like, right, go. And then so I'm standing in front of the video wall and I'm doing my pose and I'm just like, this is nuts. And I was there the whole time he was doing the promo. And it's almost impossible to put it into words. The door opens, I do the spin, and it was just like this wall of energy and noise. And I was just like, wow. And I still remember exactly what I saw. And that's one of the things about wrestling is, I don't know if like fans realize this is kind of a wrestler thing, but sometimes if you have a moment in wrestling, if you watch it back on YouTube or whatever, you kind of don't remember it from the first person point of view through your own eyes. You remember it as you're watching two people wrestle or whatever. But that's why I make sure with these big moments to just really try and take a mental picture of what's going on. And I'll never forget making the walk at WrestleMania. It was surreal. It was incredible.
Can you describe to us what you saw? I've heard a lot of wrestlers talk about it. It's just a blur. It's just a blur of faces. Were you actually able to pick out things?
It almost doesn't feel real. So it's like, I don't know if anyone is like, if you've ever had like a VR headset on, it feels like a VR headset because it doesn't feel like something that human beings are supposed to experience, you know? I don't think I'm supposed to know what it's like for 80,000 people to say, I believe in your name, you know? Like it's a crazy experience. I can't put it into words, but yeah, it's great.
Is that the most people that have ever chanted, "We believe" at you?
I think it's got to be, yeah. Yeah.
It's a pretty great chant too. Like,
so actually, and it's not one that I decided. That's the audience will let you know sometimes. So I remember I thought it was going to be the fans were just going to go, "I believe in Joe Hendry," all throughout the match. But I did my promo, and this was like I think my first promo in TNA, and I was going, I've got to get "I believe in Joe Hendry" in there. And then they just started going, "We believe." It was in Albany, New York, and they just kept going, "We believe," and I got to the back and I was like, all right, I guess it's "We believe." So it was the audience that decided that.
So as you know, I've been focused a lot on my health lately, and it hit me that I should probably be putting that same energy into my dog's health too. Meet our sweet little girl, Luna. She's a 15-year-old Chiweenie rescue, but Luna does a lot of licking. Like, she will leave wet spots on the furniture from it, and I learned this is not normal dog behavior. It could actually be a sign of allergies. Just like us, dogs rely on good bacteria to support their gut and help keep their immune system calm. That's what led me to Better Wild Allergy Relief Soft Chews, designed to help support your dog's allergy defenses by strengthening digestion and restoring balance from the inside out. Powered by Ancestral Advantage Wolf probiotics and natural ingredients shown to help reduce itching while supporting gut, immune, and skin health. Luna takes them every day since Better Wild sent us some to try, and the difference has been huge. And right now, Better Wild is offering anyone who watches Insight up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/CVV. That's betterwild.com/CVV for 40% off your order. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any animal disease or condition.
how many blue shirts and pairs of white pants do you own?
So this is a point of major contention. It's less than you think, right? And the reason I say that is because people are like, "What? You've only like." There's not many.
It's a little strange seeing you here wearing all black.
It's jarring.
Are you turning heel?
Yeah. Well, it's
What's going on?
Would this be the Joe Hendry heel look?
Ooh.
Is this it? I don't know. I'll think on it. But if you think about it, the shirt is actually only worn for probably 15 minutes a month, really. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'll wear it maybe like one segment a month.
Are you about to
maybe
tell
one
us you
promo.
only own one shirt?
It's not one. That's what I'll say. It's not one, but it's not much more than one.
Two.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
What about the white pants? And it's a tricky situation when you wear white pants.
It is. Again, it's not one. It's not much more than one.
I don't think it gets talked about how much like your background in MMA. You are a black belt in judo. You are a champion freestyle wrestler. In another timeline, is Joe Hendry a UFC fighter?
So actually, if I go back to 2014, I think it was the year that CM Punk signed to the UFC. Whatever year that might have been 16 actually, but 2014 was when I started amateur wrestling, and I just sometimes like you have tasks that you and skills that you naturally gravitate towards, and for me grappling sports was one. I got my black belt in judo when I was about 21, kind of went away from it. I was doing music and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to get back into it, but in judo they had outlawed the double leg takedown, which was my big move. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to start amateur wrestling, and I wasn't satisfied with how ICW was using me. They did not see me as a major player. So I was like, right, I need to become legitimately tough, so I'll be treated as such. So I started amateur wrestling, and we have something called the Commonwealth Games in Europe, which is like the Olympics, but not quite as good. But we won't say too much about that. But it's basically it's kind of the secondary competition to the Olympics. And we had this guy who was the heavyweight representative for Scotland in amateur wrestling. I went on my first day, just killed him. So I was like, okay, maybe I've got something here. And then I entered my first tournament in amateur wrestling with like 4 weeks training, because I was doing a documentary with the BBC, and they were doing like what happens if a aspiring pro wrestler starts, real wrestling, and they wanted me to look like a fool on TV, and I went along and just started killing everybody. So they were I wasn't involved in the program. They cut my entire part.
You were too good.
The program because I was just killing everybody. And then so I remember it got to about 2016, and I saw that CM Punk had signed with the UFC, and at that point it was like that was a viable option for professional wrestlers. And I was like, right, actually, I'm going to steer into this a little bit. So it was 2017, I won the British National Championship in freestyle. 2018, I won the Greco Championship in freestyle. And I represented my country at the Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
And I was looking at potentially doing MMA. I didn't really have any striking, but I was like, look, if my grappling is at a level where I was like, I think I can, beat some local dudes on some local MMA shows or whatever. So I was actually talking to a fairly well-known organization. They're called BAMA. They were like a European MMA organization, and we were talking about me potentially doing a fight. But then I got an opportunity with TNA, and then I went to Ring of Honor for a while, and so it just kind of didn't happen. And then after Ring of Honor, it got to the point where I felt like it just didn't feel like the right move. It'd been quite a while since I'd been at that level grappling wise, so it didn't pan out. But I was certainly thought about and discussed for a while.
Well, I think people need to put some respect on your black belt and on your championship freestyle wrestling.
Thank you.
Since you're a lover of music and a musician yourself, what would be the most embarrassing song that we would find on your playlist?
Oh, man. The most embarrassing. I mean, I have a super eclectic taste in music. The most embarrassing. It's probably my own, to be honest. I mean, what kind of idiot puts their own song on their theme on their playlist? But it's on there. You just can't deny it. Most embarrassing. I need to think about that. I mean, look, I have to say, I'll say this. Like boy bands in the 90s were like pop music. Like pop music was like A tier, S tier in the 90s. So I'd say, probably I Want It That Way.
Oh, what a song.
There you go.
I just saw the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
All right. Well, there you go.
It's a wonderful gift for my wife.
I don't feel embarrassed by that.
I wouldn't be embarrassed by that.
All right. Well, that's fine then.
Do you remember LFO?
No. Refresh my memory.
Summer Girls?
What does it go like?
New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick, and I think it's fly when girls stop by for the summer. This isn't about me. I know every word to that song. You've never heard that song before?
I have now. I know
Okay.
the one you're talking about.
Because of my
But
fantastic
I had to get you
singing.
to sing it, though.
Oh, I won't sing anymore. This is the true musician here. Now that you're on the main roster, who are some people that you have your eye on that you would love to have a match or a feud with?
Logan Paul.
I hear they should fire that guy.
Well, there's a song about that. Yeah.
I heard a song about that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's on the playlist, too.
Should be on everybody's playlist. When you are working out to non-embarrassing songs, what's usually getting you hyped up in the gym?
Ooh, that's a good one. I will say, I'm going to add one more actually to that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I have had the opportunity to train with him in the ring at Ace Steels, but I've never wrestled him. I really want to wrestle CM Punk. So
I think
that's
that'd be great.
someone I want to wrestle. But yes.
You guys want to see Joe Hendry versus CM Punk? Yeah.
But yeah, in the gym, I would say this is more going back a few years, but I used to listen to. I have to say this doesn't get enough credit. I would say Infest by Papa Roach. That album's pretty great.
What an album.
What's funny about that?
Yeah.
So it's a great album. I used to work out to that.
Used to, but not anymore.
I wish I had an interesting story or a retort to that, but no, just generic, heavy metal music usually goes well in the gym.
Every once in a while, especially around WrestleMania season, I'll put My Way on Limp
yeah.
Bizkit.
Yeah.
As you're walking into the gym, you're just like, check out the melody.
Yeah.
You think you're special. You do.
As wrestling fans, we've been hearing a lot about VPNs these days, and it's true. You can access content that's available in other countries, but might not be available where you live, or maybe it's available at a fraction of the cost in those other places. NordVPN is my go-to. With just a few clicks, you can change your virtual location, which allows you to get access to that content as if you live there. On top of that, they've got your back when it comes to security. When I'm traveling, I'm logging into public Wi-Fi at a hotel or at an airport, and NordVPN gives me peace of mind knowing that I'm protected from hackers who might be trying to steal my personal information. You can use it on any device like your phone, your laptop, your tablet, and it's lightning fast. So if you want to check out NordVPN, head to nordvpn.com/CVV and you can access our exclusive deal, which gives you a huge discount plus 4 extra months. And there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So give it a try. That's nordvpn.com/CVV or check out the link down below.
All right, we're going to open up to Q&A here in just a minute. So if you do have a question, put up your hand. Jameel will come around with the mic, but I will ask you the question that I've asked you many times before. Perhaps your answers have changed, but before I get into my final question here, I just want to say congratulations, man. You are on an absolute tear right now. And I've talked to you at some really interesting inflection points in your career. Like, I was in the car with you, and basically the next day, you made your debut on NXT.
I remember, what was it that happened again? I was trying to not reveal what was about to happen. It was getting tough. So I remember you were asking too many questions, man.
I picked you up from LA and I said, oh, are you flying back home after this? Flying back to Scotland? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then you asked something else. I was like, too many questions.
I was just curious. Then I had you on again right after the WrestleMania moment. And here we are. So something big's about to happen. That just seems to be the case.
That is pretty crazy, actually. Yeah, we do tend to speak before something massive happens.
And it seems to be around this time of the year, 2024.
Maybe you're the one that's manifesting it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe I'm your good luck charm.
Maybe.
So in this moment now, Joe, what are 3 things that you're grateful for?
Ooh, man. All right. There's so much to be grateful for. I mean, sometimes when you're pursuing a goal like this, it can be so intense and you just want to give it your best all the time. And you kind of have to try and have this balance of, I want to give it my absolute best, but I always just want to, take a moment to appreciate everything that's going on. So I have to say, man, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to learn right now. I know that sounds really like the politically correct answer or whatever in terms of what you should say, but genuinely, I'm very grateful for the fact that like I'm 38 now, you know, and I just feel like I'm better every single year because I have this mindset where like if I get better every year, then my age doesn't matter, you know. So I'm very thankful that I got to go to NXT and to learn these new skills on the main roster. And something I'm grateful for is like, you know, like the adventures never stopped, you know. It's just, I feel like my life is a constant adventure. So I feel like that's, you know, that's got to be up there for me. I'm grateful for, you know, the people that are in my life. You know, I've got my family are down here, so I'm grateful.
All the way
for
from
them.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Just for Insight Live.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for, you know, I'm gonna give my dog Gromit a shout out as well. I
love that.
So yeah, but yeah, no, I'm very very grateful for, and you know, for the fans as well, and yeah, just super grateful.
Man, grateful for you. Thank you for always making the time. Thank you for always having these incredible conversations, and thank you for joining us all here in Tampa for this as well. We're going to open it up now to Q&A. We'll start right here. What's your name?
Lawrence. What's up, Joe? What's up, Chris?
What's up?
Probably heard this a bunch, but what's the biggest difference between TNA and WWE so far?
Do you have like a specific, like, anything, like just the organization overall, or how it's been for me, or what,
Just
from
like,
what kind of
just like
perspective?
anything like personally different? I mean, I don't really know.
I think that
Is the catering a lot better in WWE?
yeah. So no, I mean, TNA was awesome for me because it was a place to kind of find who I was as a professional wrestler, and to, you know, to put in the work and kind of learn and grow as a performer there. And with WWE, I think that it's about learning an entirely new set of skills, and I think it's just, I'm grateful for the whole journey, you know. And I've got, you know, I'm super. I wouldn't change a thing. Like I love my journey in TNA. Like I've got, you know, so many friends at TNA. Like my girlfriend still works at TNA, and so I've got a lot of love for TNA, and the time that I had there. And now I'm just super excited for WWE because, I mean, look, WWE, I've had an amazing career and I've loved it, but WWE is the dream, you know. WWE is the dream. That's the biggest stage that we've got. So I want to give it everything that I've got. So I mean, it's just one thing I will say is like the resources that WWE has is unbelievable, and the tools that we have as performers. Like when I made that the Logan Paul music video, I actually cut the mask out and made it and had it, but it was back at the hotel, and I was like, oh damn, we got to film this video now. The props team made another mask. Like they made another mask, and it was like in 10 minutes or something. They made like the little fake Pokemon card that he had around him like in like 5 minutes or something. And then I was like, do you guys have a guitar strap? And they were like, no, we don't. Well, we'll get one within 15 minutes. And you're like, what? And they're just like materializing these things. So I think like the resources that WWE has and the passion that goes behind that, like they just like love the challenge of what are we going to do tonight? You know? So I feel like I just want to, there's so many awesome things, but I want to specifically put over the props team. They were awesome. So let's give it up for the props.
All right, our next one's right here. What's your name?
It's Adric.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here and doing this. Being from the UK myself, I miss a lot of things from time to time. What is the one thing that you bring over every time in your bag that you can't get over here?
You don't sound like you're from the UK.
I've been here a while, so.
And maybe people tell you don't sound like you're from Scotland anymore.
Yeah, I have this weird kind of half Scottish, half American accent now. I think it's okay. And Drew has a completely different, weird American Scottish accent as well.
And then Nick Aldis has this other weird half accent.
Yeah, completely different. So there's nothing in my bag that I would bring from the UK, but I miss the roads from the UK. Like I love driving. Like when I have to think about an idea or a song or whatever, I'll just get in the car and drive. And in Scotland, you're like, I've never been to that mountain before. Let's go. Whereas to America, love you. But there's a lot of straight lines, you know? We got to work on our roads, America.
Not a lot
so I miss the roads.
Not a lot of high elevation in Florida specifically.
It's straight lines.
Straight lines. All right, where's our next one? Right here. What's your name?
My name's Andrew. Nice to meet you guys.
Hey, good to meet you.
So two things. So the first thing is Taylor Swift's known for making breakup songs about her exes. Are you now becoming famous for making songs about the opponents that you face?
I'm just trying to. How did that relate to Taylor Swift? I'm trying to just do this. I'm just trying to. You know, some of these questions. That question was a journey, right? So we got the Taylor Swift part, right? So am I famous for making songs about my opponents? I would say so. I mean, look, Jake Paul posted the video this morning. He seems to agree with me. So I think we have to say yes. Right?
Taylor Swift makes it ambiguous.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry's basically like, that guy sucks, and I'm going to write a song about him.
I will say on the topic of Taylor Swift, if it wasn't for Taylor Swift, maybe none of this stuff happens. Because I remember when my song came out, the buzz started to die down a bit, and I was like, oh no, I need to bring the buzz back up. So I did a song just an acoustic song asking Taylor Swift to take a week off the charts so she could let me go to the top of the charts. And the mainstream media actually picked it up. So you know what? There you go. That's the link. Thank you.
Without Taylor Swift, we don't have your hit songs.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a quote I want out there, but, you know, okay.
What's your name? Where are you from?
How's it going there? My name is Sham. I'm from London, England. Still got the accent. Still got it. And everybody calls me Uncle Razor because I help promote pro wrestling, MMA, boxing, me and my mate over here throughout Florida. And I actually helped out with catering in TNA about 2 years ago. I was hanging out with you.
So it's your fault.
Yeah. It was my fault. It was us. But I just want to say you guys are lovely. I wanted to give a shout out to Ace Steel and the Foundation. And I wanted to ask you, when's the last time you had an Irn-Bru?
Oh, man.
Some of you guys know that.
I don't even know if I want to say this. I think half of my home nation is going to turn on me now. He asked me when the last time I had an Irn-Bru was.
An Irn-Bru?
Yeah, it's a Scottish drink.
Okay.
That everybody in Scotland loves. Except me. I do not like
Can you
Irn-Bru.
describe it for us lay people?
I cannot. It's a horrible drink that everyone loves. We'll bring you an Irn-Bru over, but you know we'll see. Has anyone here had an Irn-Bru? Okay,
is it
good
terrible?
or bad? Be honest, good or bad? See, he's trying to be nice. He's trying to be nice.
All right. Right here. What's your name?
My name's John. Actually, my name is John Jordan. I see you guys both have an affinity for Jordans.
We do.
Listen, my late brother's name was Michael Jordan. I literally have the Jumpman on my calf.
Wow.
So,
Your brother's Michael Jordan. Wow.
God bless that. Yeah, we miss him, and
Michael Jordan's brother is here, guys.
I honor him every day. Chris, I appreciate how much I work in marketing, so you know, the name of the game is understanding your audience. You very much do that. That's a lot of what pro wrestling is too. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the very kind words.
100%. You also have an affinity for chicken wings and pizza, which I do too.
Yes, as you can tell by my physique. Love me some chicken wings and pizza.
I'm going to flip it to Joe and ask, the UK, as much love as I have for it, sometimes gets, pooped on a little bit for its cuisine,
and rightfully so. Yeah. Why'd you think I live here?
So, but what are we all missing from Scotland specifically? I know it's not haggis.
Why would you assume that?
I don't know.
Who here's had haggis? Haggis is amazing. Okay. That would be my choice. Haggis is phenomenal. Yes, agreed. The cuisine back home needs a little work.
What's up with breakfast in the UK?
Okay, that seems like a very open-ended question. Again, please be specific.
It's just not good.
Okay, well, what are we talking about here? Breakfast where?
The beans.
Oh, the cooked breakfast?
Yeah.
So the full English or the full Scottish breakfast? So if it's a full Scottish breakfast, let me take you back a couple of years, all right? This is when I had no money. I used to save up £3, right? And I would get the 10-item breakfast with a drink and a Kit Kat, right? So you won't hear me saying anything
Kit
bad.
Kat for breakfast?
Yeah, let me talk you through it, right? So you'd have link sausage, square sausage, you have hash browns, you'd have, you guys call it blood sausage, but we'd also have haggis, there was tomato, there was egg, there was everything, and you got a drink and a Kit Kat for £3, which is like $5, people. Come on.
What a deal.
It's a deal. So yeah, I can't agree. The breakfast is the one thing we do have right.
Okay. Agree to disagree. Can you tell us what haggis is for the uninitiated?
I wouldn't really know how to describe it. I think haggis is you don't really want to know, right? Is it not like boiled intestine or something like that? Hey, I told you don't want to know, but you asked. But yeah, haggis, don't read about it, just try it.
It's delicious.
It's amazing. Yeah. It is amazing.
Right here. What a great shirt you're wearing. Say his name and he appears at WrestleMania.
Fantastic shirts. Thank you.
I know earlier you spoke about the action figures. I just want you to know we brought yours.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
We're
you.
representing.
And what's your name?
My name is Demi, and this is hopefully a fun one. When, not if, but when you and Drew McIntyre go for the tag team champions, what would be your tag team name?
Ooh, probably Irn-Bru. Irn-Bru. There you go.
Do you want to be in a tag team with Drew McIntyre, or do you want to have a match with Drew McIntyre?
I mean, look, if you're giving me the choice, like I'll probably go for the tag team. You know, he's won a lot of titles. Let's get a couple of titles under our belt, and then we can worry about facing each other. Tag team. Let's do it.
All right, tag team. Where is it? Oh. Hey, what's your name?
How you doing? I'm D. I'm from Largo, Florida. I'm a native around here, so, you know, USA strong.
What's up, D?
Yes, sir. Joe, this is a question for you. I just wanted to know, you talked about a lot of the positives in your career. Was there any moments or anything or any time that, like, tried you to the point of where you didn't know if this was really for you or you thought about giving up or quitting?
That's a great question. Man, I wish, like, for anyone, like, do you have a goal or a dream or anything? Legit, like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
I'd say my biggest goal and dream is to just live a happy life.
That's a great one.
Yes,
that's
sir.
a great one. Do you have like a professional goal or something that you're passionate about? What task do you do that the hours just disappear?
That's a great question.
I have nothing too crazy. As long as I'm happy and my family's taken care of, I'm good. We're good. That's all I want.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome. I love to hear that. I would say if you find that thing where, like, for me, there are certain tasks and things that you do where the hours just disappear. Like, I can sit and make music and go, oh, whoops, it's 2 a.m. You know, there are a couple of tasks that if you do it, like, your passion just overrides everything else and you just lock in. And I think, like, when I think about pro wrestling and the goals and the dreams that I've had, it's this combination of factors. I think, one, you have to be so passionate about it that you are willing to overcome the no's and all of the difficulties and the trials, and because there are so many, like, doing wrestling and being in this business over a long period of time, there are moments when it's tough. But I'll be completely honest with you. I was at a point where, again, when I was in Newcastle, England, I was wrestling in front of 200 people, but the crowd were loving it, and I was paying my bills, you know? So I think what we have to realize is, like, a lot of wrestlers think about, I have to, you know, win this title or be signed here or do this thing. And actually, if you can get yourself to a point where your goal is to deliver for someone else, so your goal is to deliver for the audience. So when I'm going to that show, I'm not thinking, like, when I'm writing these songs, I'm not thinking primarily like, oh, I'm going to write this because this will happen and I'll win this belt and I'll do this. Of course, those things come in your mind, but in order to do that, you're thinking, how can I entertain the audience? What line are they going to love? What are they going to sing along with? Whatever it is you're doing, whoever the customer or the end user is, if you can see it through their eyes and make it as good as you can for them, and be very honest with yourself about what's working and what's not working. That's what most people can't do. They go, no, I'm doing this and that's it and that's it. You have to be honest and go, is this working or do I have to adapt my strategy? If you're willing to work like nobody's ever worked, you have to give so much. You have to. It always takes more than you think it will as well. Like getting to where you want to go, it's always a longer, more difficult path, but it's so valuable when you get to the end of it. You have to be willing to adapt as you go based on what's working and what's not working. So for me, were there times where I thought, I'm going to have to quit wrestling because it's not working? Absolutely not. It wouldn't matter to me if I was still wrestling in front of 10 people, 50 people, 200, whatever. Like as long as I felt like the audience were enjoying what I was doing, I knew it was all going to come. I knew it was going to come. I was 34 without a deal. I had no pro wrestling deal. People did not want to sign me at that point, and I just knew that I was doing good stuff. I just knew. If you know in your heart you're doing good stuff, you're going to make it. And if you're not making good stuff, you just got to be honest about what it's going to take to make good stuff. So the answer is no. I was never going to quit.
We believe, yes, sir.
Thank you. That's such a great answer, too. And that applies to any aspect of life. Has anyone ever told you look like Jake Gyllenhaal?
I got told that just before I came on stage. But hey, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot worse people to look like. I think we'll do like 2 more. And then for all of the VIPs, you guys will line up. We're going to take the photos in here. So we'll get you guys lined up. We'll do that. But where's our next one here?
Hi, over here. Hi, Chris. Hi, Joe. Alex from Boston, Massachusetts. Joe was wondering, what wrestler would you say, or maybe it's 2, that you've learned the most from in the ring?
Ooh. You've been in there with a lot.
Yeah, the tough thing about that is picking someone and then going, I should have said this person or that person. So there's a lot of people. So when I get asked this, I'll just pluck out what's in my mind right now. And one person I'll mention is Eddie Edwards. Because I feel like, people talk about like, after you've been wrestling for 10 years, that's when you get it. I remember the match when I suddenly got it. And it was wrestling Eddie Edwards in TNA. And I remember I just, was going out there and wrestling and having matches and doing stuff because I kind of know you're supposed to do this and I think you're supposed to do that. After I wrestled Eddie, he made me understand that, and actually Seth Rollins told me this recently as well, that the beautiful thing about wrestling is if you commit to anything and you have reason and conviction to believe that something's going to work and you commit to it, that is going to resonate with the audience, with matches, with promos, with everything, across everything in this business. And that made me realize that actually, if it's built in the correct way, I can, because I was thinking to compete with these guys, I'm going to have to do these ranas and flips and all this. And Eddie taught me that you can get a big reaction from a shoulder tackle if it's built in the correct way. So after that match with Eddie, that changed my wrestling career. Moose is somebody as well who pushed me to be better, and he never thought okay, because when I first went to TNA, I didn't have much experience of pay-per-view matches. So, Moose's skill level at pay-per-view matches is here, and maybe mine's is here, but Moose never saw me like that. He was just like, this is the level we're going to wrestle at, by the way, And I was like, all right, and then he brought me up, and there are so many wrestlers like that do that. But I also learn from people that I'm friends with and who I've worked with, and I've learned a lot from Leon Slater, and being friends with him and watching how he navigates, how he does what he does. And again, we have totally different acts, but I go, see how you did that, and and start thinking about that. And from a WWE perspective, honestly, I know I'm not in the ring with them in terms of having matches with them, but crossing paths with Terry Taylor that's one of the things I'm most grateful for in my career and in life, really. I think mentorship is something that I didn't feel like I had for so long professionally, and I've been so grateful to have mentors in wrestling over the last couple of years, and he's one of them,
Also, the fact that you had a match with Kurt Angle early in your career.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You go, I should have mentioned Kurt. I mean, but Kurt is another one. Like his level of intensity is unmatched. Same with Drew as well. When I wrestled Drew and Kurt in 2016 and 17, that made me realize, it's just like it is in any pursuit in life. If you work with someone who's at the top, like I don't know if anyone here is into bodybuilding, but I worked out with Dorian Yates, and
legend.
I thought that me giving max effort was here. I thought my 10 was here. Whereas he's like, hell no, it's here. And he pushed me to a level I never thought possible. And so it completely changed my approach to how I go to the gym. In the same way, working with Drew and Kurt had an intensity. I remember Drew told me to my face, he said, hey, he said this in 2016. He says, look, you're a great talent. The audience are with you. But I'm the most intense wrestler in the world. And I'm going to make you raise your intensity level. And I was like, all right, let's go. So, yeah, and then Kurt and Drew were both like that. That made me realize, like, whoa, when you're in the ring with them, you get lost in it. You're in that flow state,
And our final question right here. The bar is high. This needs to be an amazing question to wrap up our evening.
This is going to be stupid.
What's your name?
My name's Chris. Great name, by the way, Chris.
I've never met a Chris I don't like.
Awesome. Exactly. Me either. So I got to give a shout out to Muscle Man Malcolm. You both have had conversations with them over the time period about IHOP and Waffle House, of course. Yes, Waffle House. I had a question. Do you guys think you would be able to do the broken yolk Ironman omelet that's about 6 pounds? Or have you thought about doing any food challenge ever?
This is a really specific question, for one. But your last sentence saved you. And that's because you are talking to someone who beat Jim Cornette in a burger eating contest. If you Google Jim Cornette burger eating contest, you're going to see me kicking his ass in a burger eating contest.
What was it? Who could eat the most burgers, the fastest? What is it?
So it was, I don't know the exact poundage, but I think it was 6 pounds or something like that. It was, okay. How many pounds of burger have you eaten? If you have to think, it's not more than 6.
Yeah.
I haven't personally done it myself,
Okay.
but there's a gentleman named Beard Meats Food that's done 30,
I am aware.
3,000 kilos.
I am aware.
Kilograms, I
I am
believe.
aware. I'm not claiming to be better than him. I'm just saying, look.
You're saying you beat Jim Cornette.
Exactly. I know.
Okay, fair
So what happened was ICW held a burger eating contest. And this is, again, I think this is another thing about goal achievement is you have to be willing to take chances and do things that are a little bit disruptive. And sometimes you're going to get it right. Sometimes you're going to get it wrong. And at ICW, I wasn't even on the roster at this point, but I had done a promo for them backstage and they were like, whatever. And so Jim Cornette, Grado, and Wolfgang are doing this burger eating contest. And I had been the first person to beat the Edinburgh Burger Challenge at this place called City Cafe. So I knew I would smoke them all, right? And I said to Mark Dallas, who owned ICW, I says, put me in. And he's like, can't do it. You're not on the roster. And he's like, and look, if you don't finish the burger, we have to pay. And I says, I'll put my money on the line. So I went in there and I had no money. So I had to win. They're all drinking beers and all this, and I'm like, these guys are toast. I had a tiny bit of water.
Up.
Yeah, I had one egg earlier that day just to get my metabolism going. But I showed up there, and I'd had it all down. So you got to eat the beef first, right? You got to get rid of the beef because after 3 pounds of beef, the taste starts to get bad, even if it's awesome. And what you do is the beef soaks into the burger bun. Right? So if you eat the beef first, the bread is soggy, so it's easier to eat at the end. And you don't drink and fill yourself up. You use the tomato and the lettuce as hydration. That's how you do it. So that is how I became a burger eating champion.
Wow.
To answer your question.
Who knew that Joe Hendry was a burger eating champion? What a question. What a story.
3-time, actually.
3-time.
Who's counting?
Wow. Burger after burger.
I will tell you though, on that last one, I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but I mean, I literally was like, so what are the rules? If I finish, if you puked, that's it, you're out the contest, right? But I was like, can you puke after declared the winner? And she was like, yeah, and I was like, cool, thanks.
Joe,
But yeah, I actually thought to myself, there was a moment I was there with my brother, and I turned to him and I was like, can you Google it? Can you actually die from this? And it turns out you can. And I think I must have been pretty close, to be honest.
well, we're glad that you're still with us.
I'm still here.
This has been an absolute blast. Did you guys have fun tonight with Joe Hendry? This was so fun. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man himself, Joe Hendry.